Let's take a look at a trade that I just took. All right, it's not conventional what I would normally do, but this trade ended up being a 1 to 4. So let's go. So before I actually break down the trade itself, let's go back in time. And for that, we use the replay function. Now, I'm a big proponent for following the momentum of the market, and I would advocate that you do the same. So let's break down each of the parts of this trade to see if we can understand why I did what I did. Understanding the direction. So first things first, if we pay attention to gold has been bearish. And then all of a sudden, at this specific low here and this low here, gold has all of a sudden broken that structure and gone bullish. Now, if we look at gold on the higher time frames, you can actually realize that gold is predominantly bullish. And the higher you go, the more you begin to realize that it is predominantly bullish. It is a bull market. Naturally, I'm going to align myself with a buy. Anytime I see a sell, it feels like an induction. Everything that stands out to me right now is anything that shows me signs of buys, liquidity. You must understand where the energy comes from. You must eat to survive. Cars need gas to be able to drive. The market needs energy. So if we're looking for a buy of sorts, it would make sense that the market sells off really aggressive before that buy occurs. And this occurs for multiple reasons. In my opinion, one of the biggest reasons that takes place is because you'd never find the market just giving buyers a chance. It don't make sense. The dealer, which is the person who I believe controls the market, has to get rid of people who are on the right side of the move. Because one, you don't want them to get too cocky. And then two, the market needs energy. So if it has to go up, it has to go down first. I'm looking at a few key areas, right? So one of the first areas that I identify is this. And what I will do, I see people tend to draw zones. They put in zones all the way down here. Market isn't going to hit this. If it hits this, it's probably not ready to buy. That's a lot of bear momentum. If it can do that, that's about 800 pips. If we're looking for zones, you don't really want it to go too far. Even this is very, very far. Another one that I'll be interested in here is this. And that's still very, very far. And then I had this one. Now, why am I looking at this? This zone looks much different to these. And if you pay attention, these zones are all playing off of previous lows. Whereas this one is playing off of a high. In this area, price has been through this area quite some time. Sellers induce, sellers and buyers induce, sellers and buyers are induced. And the fact that it's passing through this area a few times tells me that there is significant liquidity in here, the trap. So the next thing is, even though we know that the market should come down to one of these areas in order to buy, it has to trap traders first and foremost. We have to get people to believe that it's a sell. The dealer has to get traders to believe that it's going to go down. So he has to induce them to go down. How does he do that? He starts to show them the sell. He starts to show them that it's a consolidation. And what do we know? What do we learn about consolidation? Wherever it breaks out to is where it's going. So if it breaks out here, it's going here, correct? That's what you learn. The fact that I'm seeing this as a consolidation, the fact that I'm seeing this as a resistance, the fact that I'm seeing all of that tells me that this here is a very, very high potential of a trap. Automatically now, I'm now starting to piece things together. Potential parts. Now I'm looking at what the market could potentially do. So I'm saying it could actually try to grab liquidity here and then go up. I'm saying it could try to grab liquidity here and then go up. And I'm saying it could try to grab liquidity here and then go up. Now, all of these scenarios are possible, but I'll tell you, this one and this one are much less likely. Because if like I said, if the market gets down to these areas, this is more bearish than anything. And it's much more dangerous to place a buy off of, because you'll be buying against a lot of bear momentum. Market don't want to do that. The same way it requires energy to actually move in its favor direction, if it's full and it's actually using that energy, that liquidity to fuel a bear move, you don't want to go against that. What I then begin to do is I'm now starting to set alerts and I would set alerts above these liquidity areas, or what I perceive to be liquidity areas. I set an alert here, and then I set an alert here, and then last but not least, I set an alert here. The move throughout the course of the night, it continues to consolidate, continuing to make traders, again coming back up close to the high, continuing to make traders believe like it's actually going to sell off, right? Never really showing new signs of bull power, even starting to create a bear move, a bear trend, right? Continuing to induce along the trap. And then throughout the course of the night, I'm asleep. Throughout the course of the night, it actually breaks out of this consolidation and it comes straight into this zone. Triggers the alert, but I don't get it because, well, let me just say I don't get it. I get it, but I don't do anything because I'm asleep. But it comes straight into this zone here. And as it comes into this zone, it doesn't stay in that zone for very long. And then it starts to move upwards. So as it's moving upwards now, I just woke up. The time here right now is 7:49 a.m. As I now get a chance to see this, when I pay attention to the fact that even this bear trend has now been broken, the sellers who were trapped along this area have now been taken out. And I just recently saw an opportunity to place a buy. The opportunity. I'm now looking at this here as a previous liquidity that has just been taken because now it never triggered either of these two, which I said that would not have had high possibility. All I'm waiting for now is for it to pull back and grab liquidity from this area, and that is exactly where I entered. Place the buy down in this area, and I would have done that on the lower time frame. I would have done that right there. Put your stop loss right underneath this large wick here. Not a 10 pip stop loss like I normally would. It's a little wider stop than I normally would. Your target can be the previous high, and let's see what happened. And there you go. Beautiful, beautiful move. That ended up being just about a 1 to 4, almost a 1 to 4. And yay, there you have it. We're almost done. Now you have a choice. You can trail or you can close. I'm going to be very busy today, so I actually ended up closing this trade. Closed the trade for just a little under 1 to 4, and that's the end of that. Let me know what you guys think. Like, subscribe. See you in the next one.